Imagine waking up one morning and discovering that a prophecy written 500 years ago is suddenly trending across the entire internet. A date, a war, a disaster, something written centuries earlier, starting to look terrifyingly real. History is full of people who claimed they could see the future. Some were mocked, some were feared, and some left predictions that still haunt humanity today. Because sometimes their words sound too accurate to ignore. What if some of them were simply guessing? And what if some of them weren't? Before we begin, make sure you subscribe to Top 10 Untold, because this channel uncovers the darkest warnings, hidden histories, and terrifying mysteries humanity rarely talks about. Now let's begin. Tonight, we're opening the book of history's most chilling prophecies. These are 10 predictions that terrified humanity. Warning number 10. The predictions of Nostradamus. Few names in prophecy history inspire as much fascination or fear as Nostradamus. Born in France in 1503, he was a physician, astrologer, and writer who published a mysterious book called Les Prophecies. Inside were hundreds of cryptic poems called quatrains. The strange thing, many people believe these poems predicted some of the most shocking events in human history. Supporters claim he predicted the Great Fire of London, the rise of Napoleon Bonaparte, the rise of Adolf Hitler, even the September 11th attacks. One of his most chilling lines reads, "The great man will be struck down in the day by a thunderbolt." After John F. Kennedy was assassinated, many people believed this line referred to him. But Nostradamus never gave clear dates. His predictions are written in strange metaphors and coded language, which raises a disturbing question. Are people simply forcing meaning into vague poems? Or was Nostradamus deliberately hiding the future inside riddles, so only people living in that time could understand them? Because if even one prediction was real, then somewhere in those pages, the next disaster might already be written. Warning number 9. The prophecies of Baba Vanga. If Nostradamus was mysterious, Baba Vanga was downright unsettling. Born in Bulgaria in 1911, she lost her eyesight as a child after a violent storm. But according to her followers, that moment unlocked something extraordinary. They claimed she could see the future. Over the years, thousands of people visited her small home, asking about their fate. Some of her most famous alleged predictions include the collapse of the Soviet Union dissolution, the Chernobyl disaster, the September 11th attacks. One prediction that spread across the world claimed she said, "Horror, horror, the American brothers will fall after being attacked by the steel birds." After the 9/11 attacks, people connected this statement to the destruction of the World Trade Center. But historians argue something important. Many of Baba Vanga's predictions were recorded after events happened, which means they could have been altered or exaggerated. Still, believers insist she predicted events hundreds of years into the future, including predictions that humanity would face global catastrophes in the 21st century. Which raises a haunting thought. If even a fraction of those predictions are real, the most terrifying ones might still be waiting to happen. Warning number 8. The Apocalypse in the Book of Revelation. Long before modern prophets, one of the most frightening predictions ever written appeared in the final book of the Bible. The Book of Revelation, written nearly 2,000 years ago, it describes a dramatic vision of the end of the world. A future filled with global wars, natural disasters, plagues, economic collapse, and the arrival of mysterious figures known as the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse. Many believers interpret these horsemen as symbols of war, famine, death, conquest. Throughout history, whenever major disasters happened from world wars to pandemics, people returned to this book. They searched its pages, looking for clues. Was this prophecy describing their time? Or was it describing a future that has not arrived yet? Even today, debates continue about whether Revelation is symbolic, or a literal prediction of humanity's final chapter. And if it is literal, then history may simply be moving slowly towards something inevitable. Warning number 7. The 2012 Doomsday Prediction and the Maya Civilization. In the early 2000s, a strange fear began spreading across the world. It centered around an ancient calendar created by the Maya civilization. According to some interpretations, the 2012 phenomenon suggested the world would end on December 21, 2012. Movies were made. Books were written. Entire documentaries warned humanity that the end was near. People predicted massive earthquakes, solar storms, planetary alignments, even a hidden planet called Nibiru crashing into Earth. Some people even built underground bunkers. But when December 21 arrived, nothing happened. The sun rose the next day. And life continued. Archaeologists later explained something important. The Mayan calendar simply reset its cycle like a clock reaching midnight. Yet the fear revealed something fascinating about human psychology. When people believe the future holds catastrophe, they begin to see signs everywhere. Which leads to a chilling question. If humanity could panic so easily about a misunderstood calendar, what would happen if a real global warning appeared? Warning number 6. The Strange Predictions of Edgar Cayce. In the early 20th century, a man in America became known as the Sleeping Prophet. His name was Edgar Cayce. Unlike most prophets, Cayce made predictions while in deep trance-like sleep. While unconscious, he reportedly answered questions about the future. Thousands of these sessions were recorded. Some believers say he predicted the Great Depression, the World War II, but his most controversial prediction involved Earth's future geography. Cayce claimed massive geological changes would occur. He predicted parts of the United States sinking underwater, new land rising in the Atlantic Ocean, and the possible rediscovery of Atlantis. Scientists strongly reject these claims. But Cayce's followers insist many of his predictions have already come true. Which leaves an unsettling possibility. What if his most extreme predictions are simply waiting for their moment? Warning number 5. The Scientific Prophecies of Isaac Newton. Most people know Isaac Newton as the man who discovered gravity. But few people know that Newton spent more time studying the Bible than physics. Using mathematical calculations and biblical timelines, Newton attempted to estimate the end of the world. His conclusion shocked historians. Newton believed the world would not end before the year 2060. Some interpreted this as a prediction that something dramatic could happen around that time. However, Newton himself warned people not to panic. He said his calculations were meant to stop false predictions, not create them. Still, the fact that one of history's greatest scientific minds even attempted to calculate the end of civilization continues to fascinate researchers, and the year 2060 still appears in discussions about prophecy today. Warning number 4. The Dark Rhymes of Mother Shipton. In 16th century England, a woman named Mother Shipton became famous for eerie predictions written as poems. According to legend, she predicted iron ships sailing without sails, carriages moving without horses, humans flying through the sky. Centuries later, people linked these lines to steamships, automobiles, airplanes. But historians discovered something troubling. Many of the most famous predictions were likely added long after her death. Yet her legend grew so powerful that people continued to fear her prophecies for generations. Which shows how easily prophecy can blur the line between history and myth. Warning number 3. The Political Visions of Jeane Dixon. Jeane Dixon was one of the most famous American psychics of the 20th century. She gained worldwide attention after claiming she predicted the assassination of John F. Kennedy. After that event, newspapers treated her predictions with serious attention. But researchers later studied her entire record. They found something surprising. She made thousands of predictions, and most of them never happened. This led to something psychologists call the Jeane Dixon effect. People remember the few predictions that seem accurate, and forget the hundreds that were wrong. Warning number 2. The Death Prophecy of Grigory Rasputin. Before his death in 1916, Rasputin allegedly wrote a chilling letter to the Nicholas II of Russia. In it, he warned, if Russian nobles killed him, the royal family would fall within 2 years. Shortly after Rasputin was murdered, the Russian Revolution erupted, and the Romanov dynasty collapsed. Was it coincidence, or did Rasputin understand the political chaos already brewing in Russia? Warning number 1. The Final Prophecy of Saint Malachi. One of the most mysterious prophecies in religious history is attributed to Saint Malachi. He supposedly wrote a list describing every future pope of the Catholic Church. Each pope was represented by a short symbolic phrase. According to believers, the final phrase describes the last pope before the end of the church era. The identity of this figure remains heavily debated. Some believe the list ended with Pope Francis. Others believe more popes will follow. But if the prophecy were true, it would suggest that one of the world's oldest religious institutions is approaching its final chapter. Closing psychological question. History shows something fascinating. Humanity has always feared the future. But prophecy reveals something deeper. Not just fear, but curiosity. Because every generation wonders the same thing. Are these predictions simply stories humans created, or warnings that history has not reached yet? And if one of them were real, would humanity recognize the warning in time? Or realize the truth only after it happens? Before you leave, subscribe to Top 10 Untold, because the next episode will uncover even darker mysteries hidden inside history. And some of them are far stranger than prophecy.